takeoff.
We are cleared for takeoff.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is the place where real dialogue matters. It is time to take flight with Audio Airstrike.
What's up, everybody? I'm Everett Hall-McNeill, and this is Audio Airstrike. With me at this time is my temporary co-host, Jacob Cooperman.
I'm gunning for that starting spot, baby.
We'll see.
Right now, I want like a 10-day contract, basically. 10-episode contract.
You're pretty much the wide receiver that's like on a 1-year, 2-year deal.
Yeah. I'm Julian Edelman of the
pretty
podcast
much.
game, basically.
Possibly. Yeah, possibly.
Could be.
We might as well get into it. I know you guys have heard Diddy got arrested for racketeering, violence, coercion.
Sex trafficking, too, right?
Sex trafficking. Yeah. A multitude of things have added up, and here we are. My take on this is this, right? Anytime that you become a prominent figure of influence, you have the choice whether to follow the negative stuff that your mentors did, or you have the choice to take what they have done, learn it, apply it, but leave out the negative stuff that has caused possibly your mentor's downfall.
Was Diddy your mentor?
I mean, he was mentored by people in the music industry, and I'm not trying to I'm not trying to be like, I'm trying to put the blame on them. At the end of the day, he's a grown man. He has to be responsible for his actions. But when you are under that level of influence, I'm going to be honest with you. There's no type of excuse to sit over there and do these acts. All the while, you got people around you that you possibly have coerced, threatened their livelihood in a way if they don't like what you're doing. You've turned around and now you've alienated people. And when you do all that to certain people over the years, of course, it's out there about the different artists that he had issues with. These are things that we've constantly seen happen. And every single year that passes, we've heard crazy stories about the way that he has maneuvered.
Yeah.
Every single year. So now we're hearing all this. We got former bodyguards coming out. We got Gene coming out saying stuff. We got other bodyguards coming out that have been giving nuggets of what's going on at these potential sex parties and stuff like that. What's going on at these parties in a certain section after a certain time period. Now we got word. I mean, months ago, the video finally got released of Diddy actually assaulting Cassie. There was rumors of that for years. And it makes you wonder, like, at what point do we look at this and go, this is a huge problem? At what point do we look at this and go, okay, we can't play the he said, she said game anymore? The feds have now arrested him. This is very serious.
Oh, it was always serious. I don't even know what necessarily other take you could have besides this stuff was bad. And I think it's a lot of people draw a lot of comparisons to Harvey Weinstein, and that I'm sure a lot of people knew what he was doing, but because he was such an influential figure and a mogul, because he was a mogul and because he was all these things, nobody wanted to come out, nobody wanted to say anything. I'm sure that's what was going on. You know, it's almost not to say that we can't have this conversation, but I'd be hard pressed to find someone that would disagree. Like, do you think there are any Diddy fans that are like, we don't know all the? I'm sure they're out there. But
they can do that, but the reality of the situation is when the feds are involved and they have probably even more information that they're not letting on to, it's a different thing.
Yeah, there's already I think there's a 16-page document that's been released with a bunch of stuff detailing. I know they had some pictures. He had some like bump stocks for ARs or AR stocks or stuff like that. You know, he had. Someone said they ordered 1,000 bottles of baby oil, which is kind of odd to say the least.
It's very odd.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think there's another take you can have, another way that you can spin this other than like, there is clearly, when you have power, there are just some people, and it's not most people, I don't think, because I am a very optimistic person. I think there are just some people like Diddy, like Harvey Weinstein, like, what's his name? Jeff Epstein. I don't know why I call him Jeff. Jeffrey Epstein. That like I knew him on a personal level. Jeffrey Epstein that just let the power get to them. And you know, it's clear that he felt untouchable. That's one thing. Because you don't go out, and I'm talking about the Cassie video, where he dragged her out, or she was trying to escape, he dragged her back. I don't feel like you do that unless you feel like you can really control everything, right?
Well, at that you got to think, if you become a person of influence to the point that people are in fear of you because you literally have the livelihood of how far they can go in the palm of your hand, and heads know that, and also he knows that, he could potentially, and has, used that to his advantage in more ways than one. You know what I'm saying? This is not cool. This is not cool at all. It's reprehensible. It's downright disgusting. I'm reading some of this stuff and I'm concerned. This dude at one point was very, very, very inspirational in terms of what businesses he was able to grow. But behind the scenes, there were all these stories. There were all these rumors of how he was treating people, of how stuff was going on, how certain music deals were cut, how certain people were not getting the opportunities, because if you crossed a certain line with him, even if you were in the right, your career was not going to go as far as you think. So when we have all that happening, and then on top of that, you got people that are standing beside him that are not checking him.
But I think even if there was rumors that were getting to the public, the way I like to look at these scandals is like you have patient zero, which is Diddy right in the middle, and then you have the circle of people that are closest to him. Then you have people that maybe know him tangentially or worked with him, and then you have outsiders or media members or artists that have had small deals, and then you have the public. For it to get all the way out there, I think it's the law of circles and anonymity and keeping information secretive. If it was able to get out to the public, you have to think that these people in the industry knew something.
At some point, there is a certain point where you can't bottle all that heinous stuff in. If somebody's getting assaulted and you see it, or if you see a glimpse of it, you're not going to look at that. You're not going to look at him the same. If somebody's sitting over there forcefully having sexual acts done to them, if people are being brought in that are prostitutes, trigger warning, if people are brought in to be prostitutes, if men are being forced to do things with other men that they don't want to do, allegedly, or from what we don't know what is in those documents.
We know Meek Mill from the alleged audio did it very willingly.
Look.
Say, hold up, wait a minute. Meek was like, no, it's just...
Yo, I'm done, yo. I can't. That's one of them jokes you just gotta let fly, yo.
Back to back.
But oh god. Yeah, but we don't know if that's true or not. Well, that'll come up to play.
Yeah, we'll talk. But to me, that's probably the part of the story that has the least amount of legs. I think.
Yeah, and I mean, has every celebrity? Well, not every celebrity. There's been a lot of celebrities that have had running with Diddy, because Diddy purposely would. Oh, he's the next guy up or the hottest guy. Let me talk to him.
Let me get in there. And that's kind of, and you know what? And it could have been any combination of guys smashing behind that door. We don't know.
Potentially.
Potentially,
we don't have a clue. But anyway, it is downright heinous and wrong to do that stuff. Because
to get back to the serious stuff,
you are forcing somebody against their will when they really don't want to do it.
We don't have to explain to the audience why it's wrong. I mean, they hopefully they know.
Yeah, man. I'm just kind of annoyed because here is somebody that was in a position that very few people of his race get to be in, and this happened.
It is sad that that's kind of something where it's like you wonder what climbing that mountaintop to, because that's the other thing, right? To your point, it's not something that a lot of people of his skin tone or skin color are getting. It's not an opportunity that a lot of people are getting. It's very rarefied air. And you got guys like Jay up there. You got guys. But, to get to Diddy's level where he's got businesses, he's got music dealings, he's, an overall just, mogul.
Depending on how this case goes, he might not have any of that.
Oh, no, he's not going to have any of that. No. He's done for, I think. I mean, I thought he was done for even before he willingly turned himself in or went to New York to get detained. But it makes you wonder also what he must have done on the way up to get there. Because if he did that at the top, now you could make an argument that maybe, the top getting to that point, seeing all the stuff that he did corrupted him. But I'd imagine that because power, to me, power shows the real you. Like if you give someone power, they'll show you who they really are. That you give a person money, they'll show you who they really are. And transversely, you take away money, you take away power, you can also see a lot of who someone is. I think that he just kind of has that part of him, unfortunately, inside, which is a mean, vindictive, predatoristic. I don't even know. I don't even think that's a word, but predatorial guy that takes advantage of others. That is clearly deeply selfish and is almost like sadistic. Like that's the insane part is that the amount of stuff that's come out, it's like 3 or 4 things that would instantaneously sink anyone's career. And not to view it strictly from that viewpoint, but like you think about it, beating a woman, that's something that'll get you canceled. It's also incredibly morally wrong, but then you have sex trafficking, something that'll get you out of there. And all of these, again, for good reason. Then you have racketeering. So it's like, dude, there's so many pieces here, and all of them are absolutely horrible.
And to have that all at once on top of rumors that you blew up somebody's car.
Yeah, that's the thing, too.
You have all of these rumors. Like, even when I was coming up, there were rumors that were like, oh, he can't, Diddy's a good businessman, but when it comes to hip-hop artists, he doesn't have a good track record.
Track record being that he misuses and mistreats them?
Track record being that a lot of artists did not get paid what they were supposed to be getting paid due to the way that the contracts were written.
Well, it's also like, it's sad too, because, and this kind of goes off of the point you were saying, is like a lot of times, and I'm not here to get political, but like, there's always the talk of the old, I guess primarily Jewish music label owners or white music label owners, whoever it was, signing these artists to predatory deals, 360s, where they were giving them watches and cars instead of actual payment. And for Diddy to then come up to your point and get this rarefied air that not many people of color get to in that point, and then to turn around and not only do that, but do worse. It's just sad, man. I don't think, again, there's not another way you could cut this, another way you could slice this, but just kind of to bask in how much of a piece of shit this guy was. Like, there's no other way to cut it, I feel. Man,
I feel very upset for his kids, honestly, because
that's the other thing too. I mean, can you even imagine knowing or figuring out that your dad? Well, again, that goes back to what we were saying. Do the kids not know? Like, I wonder if the kids, they probably saw something.
That I can't speak to. That I don't know. That's going to all be revealed in the case study. But if I'm any one of the children, like, imagine you minding your business, going to school. For those of them that are still in school,
Meek Mill pops out of the bedroom.
Oh Jesus! Oh my God!
He was like, "I saw intro. I love that song. Dreams and Nightmares. That was a hell of a. You did that record with Drake. Back to back. I think it's called. I don't know what it's called.
He didn't do. That's not the record he did with Drake.
I forget. Yeah, I'm not. I don't know Meek Mill's catalog like that. I can't lie. But yeah. I mean, he had Meek Mill in a swimming pool. Like, yes, King. What did he say?
Oh my God.
This is for you, Daddy.
Oh my God.
Could you imagine being I don't know how young his kids are. You see Meek Mill popping out of the bedroom. Like, what is Meek Mill doing here? Then Diddy comes out in a towel 2 seconds later. Oh, hey, what are you doing here, kid? Kiddo, get back in your room. We're discussing contracts in here.
Most of his kids are grown. You do realize that, right?
Really?
Almost grown. Well, his daughters, I think, are in high school.
Oh my God! Now I feel worse. I don't know why it would have been better if it was a guy kid, but that's even worse, dude. Oh my God.
But I mean, but these are things and these are questions that come up. It's like you have a family, you have kids, you have daughters. You would not want any of your kids to experience what these people are experiencing if they were older. No. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I think it's the worst time for his kids too.
I think if people actually took time to think and just sit there and think for a second and be like, would you want your future son or daughter to go through all this mess?
Well, and it's another thing too, because now that I know that they're high school aged, I mean, that's like, you think about the worst time for your dad to be a sexual predator is in high school. I'm not even trying to be funny, because like you could just get made fun of for whatever in high school. Kids are vicious.
Yep.
So not only are they going to have to look on the TV and have a court trial, it's going to be like
Especially between high school and college, those ages. Yeah.
college. They might be able to get it off. Like, I feel like if I were Diddy's kids, I'd have to hit the major reinvent before college. I'll move out of state, and Diddy better be paying for my schooling.
That's not gonna matter, bro. That's not gonna matter.
They
will tear. They will. I hate to say it, but them. I don't want them to go through that. If they're in between.
Or the
high school
Fed? You
and
think
college.
the feds are going to tell how much assets does Diddy have? Because I know I think he's surrendering his mother's estate, his estate.
Get this
right?
right. I'm gonna break it down for you.
He has a lot of assets, I know, but
He was willing to give up the passport, give up the kid's passport, give up his mom's. I think potentially give up his mom's passport, and to only travel from I think New York, L.A., and then have a GPS system on him so they know where he's at all times. On top of that, he was willing to use the house that was paid for. I think he put $18 million on it to pay it off, just so he could pay for the bail price. They denied all that.
so he blew through. And I know his
They
mother's
denied
estate was
all that.
$48 million, I think, or something like that.
That was going to be offered up too.
Yeah.
They said no.
They
we're
said
not doing
no.
that. They
Which
said
is
no.
odd. That's such a W for the justice system when they were
Yeah,
like,
they
"You're not
said
paying
no.
your way out of this one, asshole.
Right. We're not.
You're not doing that." So he just basically blew through 50. No, my math is not correct. $66,000.
That I mean, I don't know the exact prices of the houses, but I will say this: like
66 and change. Yeah.
potentially. My thing is this, right? No amount of money, no amount of success,
Yeah.
no amount of glory is ever worth losing the very essence of who you are. None of that. Like, and I hate saying this, but if you're willing to give that up, I question where your morals lie, and I question who you are.
What,
as a
his
person.
mom's estate and the kid's passports?
No, I mean, at that point, that is not even what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about just in general.
Do you think he ever had that though, Ev? Like, clearly the guy's a monster. Do you think that he was like that coming up? I mean, it's at this point it's purely speculation, but
What's crazy is at 50 years old, keep in mind, this man is over 50 years old.
grown ass man.
You shouldn't even be in the midst of the craziness.
Yeah, no, I mean nobody's gonna argue that. But I'm saying
No, but I'm just breaking it down.
Okay, I got you. I'm sorry.
I'm just breaking it down. My thing is this. You shouldn't even be in the midst of that at 50. You shouldn't even be having this stuff coming to 50. You think at 50 years old that you would have everything that you have gone through. All the close calls, all the scares, when there was like that crisis that happened in 2017 where the housing crisis went up and that stuff, like when it caused everything. All of this stuff, losing Biggie, you think that it would have him go, you know what? I have to make a positive impact in some way, shape, or form. I cannot change what I did during the early days of Bad Boy and how those contracts work. You think after losing Biggie and a couple of other people, you think after going through something traumatic like that, you think that it would be within his best interest to think twice and do something. Here we are, you are 50-some years old, and now you have the biggest form of karma potentially at your doorstep.
I think it's already there. I mean, there's no way he gets out of this. I don't think.
Yeah, I mean,
'Cause
I'd be shocked if he gets out of this.
The money was, I feel like, the best way he could have went about it, and
They don't, bro. Here's how I look at it. And granted, we are having this conversation not knowing what's going to come down the pike in the future. Right now, all that we know is what we basically have talked about.
Yeah.
This is going to be ongoing and developing.
Right.
Meaning that the feds do have a line of people potentially that will testify against Diddy and that will present the evidence that they have.
This is
That
gonna be a
maybe
lot.
they have held on to. And
Get a security guard up there.
dude. And if they have a lot and it's convincing enough, that might be all she wrote. We talking about a
Dude, they have 16 pages already
Right.
of stuff that they're. I didn't know the specific. Like I'm not sure about the specifics of the document, but I know that there's a lot of stuff there. I think that they're using as the backbone to make a compelling case. And you have 16 pages worth of stuff. That's insane. That's crazy. 16 pages worth of separate items that they found in his house. Didn't he try? He tried to. I can't remember what he did, but he tried not to allow them to enter into one of his houses because he knew what they were going to find. They ended up finding it anyways.
Well, I think what happened was that, I don't know about that one, but I do know about this. All those NDAs that were signed, that it doesn't move forward when the feds pick it up. So all those NDAs
that gets cracked too. Well, yeah, maybe I'm misremembering something, but I know that he was trying to stop them from getting into his house with a search warrant, and they just busted it through anyways.
Yeah,
they got that search warrant.
Because at this point, there's too many people, there's too many rumors, and too many people are talking. So now, on top of that, you basically are maneuvering around. And I hate to say this, but I've always had this concerned feeling whenever I kind of see his interviews, whenever I kind of see him move around.
He has weird eyes. Dude, like, he has the eyes of a predator, I think. I've always felt a little bit uneasy when looking at him. Because he has that look about him, like in his eyes. I'm saying nothing else, just the way he like looks and scopes around seems very analytical and like, how can I take advantage of this situation to the best of my ability? Yeah, and I'm not just saying that now that I know what happened. I've always kind of felt a little bit like,
And to be honest with you, for years I've always wondered, like, what is your other motive besides, like, when you're doing these strategies and these sales, like, what is your other motive? Like, when you said R&B was dead, was it just to push your album, or did you really feel like R&B was dead? Like, I think about stuff.
Also, hilariously wrong statement.
Right. Like, why?
When did he make this statement? I'm sorry.
This was about 2 years ago, but then the Love album came out last year, the year before all this happened.
Yeah. Oh, so that's strategic placement. Yeah, there's no way.
It was like, so now, looking back at that, okay, was this a marketing employer for you to just pull it out Love Records and then pull out your album? Like, I always question the sincerity sometimes when he would say certain stuff, because I'm like, what product are you trying to push? Like, what product are you trying to push? As somebody who was actively into sales, selling Ciroc, selling this, or selling Deleon or this and that, like, people drank that stuff, you made money, and then turn around and use that money to abuse other people. That's not cool. So now the consumers feel like suckers forever listening to your music and consuming your alcohol that you promoted. The people around you feel like suckers to a degree because they believed in you, and then some people, I'm not saying everybody, because some people probably did know. You have some people that didn't even know possibly that was happening. And then when all this stuff comes out, you sitting there going, what the heck is this? And then you have people that do know what's going on that was like, well, you know what? I'm going to just keep my mouth shut.
Going to the Diddy parties.
Yeah, but then you sitting there guilty. Trust me. I've seen videos of people who were around Diddy just having fun, hanging out, doing this and that. We've seen the videos. Some of them people, mad quiet. You ain't heard a lick about it. And people yelling in the videos, blah, blah, blah. All that hooping and hollering about black excellence, being at a long table with enough champagne and candles.
I never see him without champagne.
With enough, and the same people that happen to be around that table are nowhere to be found. Everybody just scattered.
It's always how it goes, though.
It's because it's easy.
Even if you knew I'm thinking about if you yourself, Ev, with all of your motives and morals now, knew Diddy and didn't know anything about what was going on. I mean, to me personally, I'm not like, I'd just be like, nah, I don't. Well, yeah, you know what? To be fair, I would probably say something. I'd be like, I don't condone what he did. And I didn't know about it. But then also, I'd have to think, does saying that you didn't know about it make you look more guilty?
You're damned if you do and damned if you don't. Because if people find out that you were even affiliated with him,
it's already toast. So I could see how some people that might have actually been innocent would even stay quiet.
But it's already a stain on you. It's like, well, what are you not telling us?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even if you literally are like, look, I really didn't know. it's like you're gonna have people on the internet or people outside being like, "Yeah, right, buddy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds good.
It's
But
such
how much he pay you to be quiet?
It's
You
such
know,
a
that's the
crazy
next thing.
world too. Is like that's the hyper rich 1% parties that people are going to. Like you think about it, like that's so far out of our living means and our lifestyle. It's almost like alien too. It's crazy.
Yeah, but once you get into that tax bracket, you can't. I hate to say it. You can't relate to middle class America no more.
You can't. Even without all the stuff that he's being accused of. I mean,
Yeah, you can't relate. You wake up and all your bills are paid, and you don't really have to. When you get to that point where you don't have to do anything, all your bills are paid each month. All your bills are paid.
well, it's a step up from that because we pay all of our bills every single month. But it's like the
But here's
never
the
having to
thing.
worry about money again thing.
But here's the thing. Your bills are your bills. However, there is a finite amount of money that you are given
No. I
to
see.
pay for your bills.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, yeah.
These people are having infinite amounts of money coming in a month where you giving away 500 is like, all right, this is $500 going out of my pocket.
Yeah.
Versus them, man, it's $500 like they tossing $500 like it's $5.
It's
You know
crazy
what I
to think about, man.
You know what I mean? Like
It's nuts.
if we try to like us, you asking me to give up $1,000? What am I giving up $1,000 for? What's the value of that $1,000?
We should start doing that.
To them, you're not giving away $1,000.
Just start spending it on stupid stuff.
But to them, spending $1,000 like spending
Dropping a
$20.
bucket. Yeah. It's crazy, man. It's wild to think about.
So automatically you disconnect yourself away from understanding to a degree, if you allow yourself to, disconnecting yourself away from what the actual struggle was like when you didn't have that type of money.
It
when you
also
didn't have-
it emboldens you to be more evil, I feel like, if you're already evil. You know?
Well, it emboldens you for the opportunity to be evil. It's still a choice at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You have the choice to either be, okay, yeah, I'm rich, yeah, I have money, but let's pump the brakes here. I still got to hold myself to a standard that I've had since I was 5 years old. My mother taught me this, and my father taught me this. Like, I have to handle stuff a certain way. It is a choice
Yeah.
to move in certain morals and ethics, and apparently that's something that Diddy didn't do.
I just don't. Yeah, I don't know what. Not to say that I don't think either of us would do that, but it'd be interesting to see what we would do when we were afforded all these luxuries. 'Cause I really do believe it changes people.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if I see, and I will fry you up
What?
privately if I ever catch you doing some stuff like that.
Well, because you already know I'm gonna have a lot of money with him. Come on,
Yeah, okay.
Ev already knows.
I could care less with how many zeros in your bank account. Let me see you get arrogant one time. I swear.
I'm like, Ev, yo, I'm at
If you get carried away, I will.
I'm at Diddy party.
Yeah, that's gonna be a problem.
I'm at
Yeah.
Meek Mill's spot.
Oh God. See, you gonna get messed. See, you keep mentioning his name.
What am I gonna get, like bad voodoo? Is Meek Mill gonna come to the?
I don't know.
I hope not. That'd be pretty scary. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not even that tough. I'd be like, if I looked out the keyhole of my apartment and Meek Mill was out there, I'd be like, wow, I've really done it now. That's crazy.
Oh my goodness. Well,
Can we talk about the video? The audio?
yeah, we've heard the audio. Yeah, that audio has been circulating around.
I don't know.
I
It
don't-
doesn't seem realistic to me. Not that I would know what that sounds like, but I don't know. What I'm guessing it sounds like is not that.
Here's the thing, like I don't know with AI and everything like that. I don't know, and I'm not trying to be, too facetious about it because sometimes when these leaks happen, you don't know if it's a fake leak, a real leak.
That's what I'm thinking.
You
Yeah.
don't know where the source is coming from. Now, mind you, I'm not calling this guy a liar, but it's one of those things like I gotta almost wait and see for another evidence of proof to drop to validate if that's real or not.
Yeah,
And that's
because
where I'm kind of stuck.
my thing was like he said he put his phone up to the door, but that's real crystal quality, like audio for a guy that put his phone up to the door.
Unless
It sounds like he was in there. Wait,
that's another thing.
Maybe. You think about that, man.
But yeah, but is he gonna admit?
He's not going to admit that, but maybe he was filming it. Maybe Diddy was like, "Come here for a second, film this."
I don't
Get ahead of the controversy, so people don't. You know what I'm saying? And he'd be like, "Dude, there was nothing I could do. He was right outside of the door. They were playing unreleased records in there, and then everything went left."
At the same time, these are bodyguards that have a certain amount of strength that are capable. I mean, there's a reason why you're a bodyguard because of your physical prowess. You going to tell me that if something chaotic happens, you can't jump in and de-escalate that situation?
That's true. And also, it's weird because he said that Diddy had slipped something in everyone's champagne, and they all fell asleep. That's some like super villain. And then he took Meek Mill to his room, and he was like, "Let's go get somewhere quiet. I'll have my security guard the door." Crazy.
Yeah, I'm kind of. It amazes me that all this stuff has happened to these powerful people, and there's still people somewhere in some way, shape, or fashion to be like, "Oh, that was them, but I'm different." That's like
what do you mean?
That's like it's kind of like almost like somebody drug dealing, and then you see a whole bunch of people go to jail and a whole bunch of people go to die, and you think you're the smartest person and be like, "Yeah, that was them, but I'm different." The same thing.
Well, that's everyone. That's people, though.
Man, I don't like that arrogance. You know how I am. That is some bogus thinking.
Yeah, but I think partially that arrogance is probably what got them there in the first place. Well, because a lot of times that ties pretty hand in hand to ego. And so I'd imagine to get to that point, you have to have a pretty heavy ego to say, "Oh yeah, they did this, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be better than that. I'm going to do what he did, but better." I feel like that about some of my favorite content creators that I watch. I'm like, I feel like I can get to a point where I'm doing a better job than this person and being a better human.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, well, I mean, also, to be fair, like, I talk about quality of videos and being a more engaging speaker, and it seems like the bar that you're talking about is not being a horrible person. So,
I'm talking about you are a leader, you are somebody of influence, you are somebody that has their hand on the pulse of the direction of where a certain movement is going to go. You are in a prominent position, and I'm going to just say it, that a lot of black people don't get to, and then you turn around and do that. So when it's the next person got to come through the door,
then it also stains it for them.
They are going to wonder, are you in any way, shape, or form moving like Sean Combs?
Sean Combs. That's a sexual offender's name right there, if I've ever heard one.
Hey, man.
Even Diddy is like, it sounds like, well, people are calling him the Diddler now. I mean, that almost, with two names like that, it was almost guaranteed. All right, you know what? Let me not say that. Because I'm not trying to make light of the situation. I am trying to keep it a little bit lighter on the pod because I don't want to.
Yeah, but you know, this is one of the things where it's like, you know, I get annoyed when people say, you know, we got to work twice as hard as everybody else. I understand why. But it just further shows the unfairness of it all. Like, here's somebody, prominent position, does this. You didn't put a stain on people coming behind you, around you, and that were affiliated with you. It's an issue and a problem. So now hip-hop has a turnaround. The black community has a turnaround. And almost in a way, well, the feds at this point will do it, carve out almost that bad piece of cancer before it affects everybody else.
Easy, just disavow them. But that's easier said than done because then people are going to have to.
It's easier said than
put
done.
Their necks
this
out
is
on the
going to
line.
be a real domino effect. This is one of the most biggest scandals in the history of hip hop.
I think so, yeah. Well, I think easily, actually. And I mean, again, you've been around in the game longer than I have, but in my memory, definitely the biggest. For sure.
Yeah, as somebody who is
not even close,
who has, you know, been a fan of hip hop, been to certain concerts, enjoys, you know, certain subgenres within hip hop to a degree. There's some hip hop I just can't get down with. However, I'm looking at this and I'm sitting over here going, I'm like, good grief, you just put a stain on the culture that made you what you are. Like it's almost like a slap in the face even. Like, I feel bad for the victims. I feel bad for the people that got to literally sit down and revisit all this and then try to go detail by detail as to what happened, because it's got to come up, and it's gonna get ugly.
There's gonna be like a really good Netflix doc about this.
Potentially, give it maybe like 2-3 years.
Yeah, there's gonna be. I can already see it.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So let me ask you this, man. Do you think that this potential incident kind of changes how executives and those that are in mogul positions, do you think this helps change how people move, or do you think people are going to still think they can get away with stuff?
I think there's probably going to be maybe more regulations in place. I definitely think that, like, if you talk about, and I do agree with you that it's very rare for a person of color to get to that level of strength and stardom and power within the U.S. I'm not saying it can't happen more and more, but it seems like this could also be one of those things where it is, I hate to say it, but I think if you ran the numbers, it'd probably be a majority white thing in terms of executives and top people that Diddy or whoever or Jay is doing business with, because that's just kind of who holds the cards right now. They're probably gonna, I'd imagine, they're gonna be a lot more tentative to give the keys over, to your point, when another person comes up. So I think it's really gonna have to be like, this could be a major, I think with anything, and I'm talking about for other people, other moguls that want to come up, other people that want to be successful businessmen, you could look at this and say, okay, I can use this to be a better example and to contrast myself with that. So like someone coming up that's a really good, honorable man that never messes over people on business, does good business, is really business savvy, but doesn't have to be that kind of predatory guy in the deals that he signs people to and the business negotiations he has. If you could do that and you can kind of separate yourself away from the image, because right now it's going to be less, I think, about Diddy and more so, as time goes on, the feelings surrounding influential people, that are in that position. So if you can juxtapose that, I think that's one great way. There's certainly, I think, let me just say this. I think there's certainly ways that people can turn this around. It will be an uphill battle, though, for sure. And I think a lot of people are going to, again, even if it was not a thing of like wanting to optically change the game, like you'd want to change up the way you're doing things, because why would you want to do business like Diddy in the first place, where you're fucking people over and you're messing up business deals, and you're not messing up, but you're stamping on people with your business dealings. Like you shouldn't want to do that. You should want to accumulate power, wealth, status through fair means, right? And maybe you could make the conversation that like, hey, that's not possible, but I don't know why anyone would want to be like P. Diddy in the first place. I feel like the next person coming up, though, should probably focus on doing the opposite of what Diddy did, which is not hard if you're a decent human being. I mean, it's like a layup, Don't drug people. Don't forcefully, grape them. Don't do all these things where you're being predatory, and just be a decent human.
Don't assault women, please.
It's not that hard.
Please don't assault women.
Yeah, I mean, that's so crazy that he was so brazen to do it on camera, too. Well, I guess he didn't know the camera was there, but in a hallway, like...
Man, come on.
We're in 2024.
It was a hotel hallway. That was 2016.
2016, yeah. So at that point, even cameras were everywhere in buildings. Like,
yeah.
Come on. Yeah, it's crazy. So just be the opposite of that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Well, this has been another edition of Audio Airstrike. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for tuning in. We'll be back with another episode next week. Y'all take care.
Appreciate y'all.